Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to the Type 1 Radio Lounge for the 2012. Tonight we're going to have on Megan to do Verb Kargher, who's done excellent documentaries for the COTO report and for Vox Populi, methods of manipulation. So we will be joined by her later. And on the line now we have Freya GJ. Happy New Year, my friend.
Happy New Year.
Have you had a good one?
Oh, yes.
Excellent. Yeah, it's been...
Oops, hold on for a second.
Okay. So, well, whilst we're waiting for Megan to come on as well, I will just play a little tune.
Or we could talk about the torch and field generators I sent you.
Yes, we could, but I've only had to go on one of them for a very short space of time. We need to do like some sort of Skype thing.
Well, I can record it too, so we can say then I can send it to all you people that I've sent torsion field generators to, because I've also sent Lobo one and I sent Herb Guy, and they should get theirs Monday. I'm sending Dude Face one out this coming Monday. Already got it made, and I'm sending it out to him to in Canada there.
Excellent. Yeah, we got it going on just a little battery, and then we also got it going with we've got a
battery charger.
We've got a battery recharger for like a drill. So we took the battery from that. It's like a plug-out battery, and then attached the thing to that, and it did go at some velocity. Yeah. So we need to understand what's at work there with when it's spinning around, because there is some sort of
field comes off of it and it makes your body vibrate.
Yeah. It was making the chair vibrate as well. And then also the methods you sent us the little independent bits to make a third. We've been playing with those magnets. They're quite funky.
and the little motors too.
Yeah. We need to get some sort of adapter, because I think is your electric current 110 over there?
Yes, it's 110, but it runs 60 cycle. But it should the battery charger should work on it, because all it does is DC rectify it. Then it goes through and charges a battery. Or you can connect it to the clips to the battery charger and run them out the machine from that. That's what I did in the beginning. I had an earlier version of that battery charger, and all I did was connect it to the clips right to the motor. But it was awkward, so I soldered wires on it and clips to make it a lot easier. So you can just clip the clips, so to speak. Red, black.
We're joined by our good friend Reset. Happy New Year, my friend.
Hey, doing good.
Excellent, excellent. You want some of this torsion field?
Oh yeah, I just heard that Jay was sending out torsion field generators, and I want to get in on that.
Okay, well, I got one more motor here that's already set up. I can have it out to you probably in about 10 days.
Okay, that would be cool. And I know Steve was talking on the Organite group not too long ago. He was saying something about on David Croft's site, something about programming the Organite before you use it. Do you know anything about that?
Well, I imagine you can program the crystals in the Organite that you go put in the Organite.
Okay, and like I said, I haven't been on, the Croft websites as Steve was talking about, but I had seen a video last year where someone had talked about just setting your Organite device in a bowl of water overnight or something to clear out the negative energy or recharge it somehow.
Well, basically, it'll clear it much like you put a crystal in water to clear it.
Okay,
but
that's going to be different. That's good. Sorry, go.
But if you want to really clear it real good, you actually use salt water, and put salt in the water, and set it outside and let the sun absorb its rays for about 12 hours, or 1 day. Then put your crystals or your Organite in there, and it makes a good bath for clearing out negativity.
And how frequently do you think you want to do something like that?
Oh, you only need to do it once.
Oh, really?
But if you feel like that it's sort of slowing down or whatever, you can put it in there and renew it that way too.
So I guess it just kind of depends on how much stuff you're surrounded by that it's taking in, huh?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, if you're running more radio frequencies around your place than that little piece of Organite can handle, then of course it's going to have problems sending out a lot of good energy because it's going to be overwhelmed.
Right.
So, but if you have 30 or 40 pieces of Organite in that area, you're going to have an accumulative effect of the Organite, which will probably, one piece of Organite will reinforce another piece of Organite.
Right.
It's like it acts like collective consciousness. The more people you gather together, the better the effect.
Yeah.
Those rare earth magnets that you sent?
Yes.
Could you possibly glue them so that they're repelling each other and then stick that in the Organite?
Yeah, I was thinking about doing that, but I was thinking one better. Why not make an Organite cone and fill all but the last final portion, and including putting the magnet in there. Then we put the last layer of epoxy, put the end of the motor shaft into the Organite into the center of it.
Wow.
Then when you take it out, you'll have a cone that you can spin of Organite that you can spin, and you can create a tremendous torsion wave from that.
Yeah.
That's also frequency stabilized because of the quartz and stuff in the Organite.
Wow. Yeah, that's why I wanted to get in. I was like, I'm on hold, but this is something I want to talk about. Yeah, that's a great idea.
Well, if you want to try something like that, I can send the magnets and the motor to you. And what I'll do is just take you a motor and clip you on the connection for it. You can make the cone and put the motor in it at the last magnet somewhere in the middle of the Organite core, and put the motor shaft in on the last core and hold it in place, and you can try it out and see what kind of effects it'll give.
Can you possibly, if you have bigger rare earth magnets, could you possibly have levitating Organite?
I don't think the Organite would levitate because of it, no. But if you glued those magnets like that, you build the Organite would fall at a rate then something of the same mass because it had those rare earth magnets placed like that. It would have a tendency to repel gravity.
Yeah, I remember seeing It was a documentary talking of this Lockheed Martin scientist talking about John Hutchison's stuff and all his static field stuff, and he was talking about orgonite, where you drop them off a building at one half.
No, he was talking about magnets. Is what he was talking about, rare earth magnets. I'm trying to think of his name because John Lear was the guy, I believe.
Not John Lear. It wasn't John Lear.
He worked as an engineer for Lockheed Martin.
Yeah, he was a test pilot, wasn't he?
And he was also a test.
Well, this was another dude. He's a bit older than John Lear. Yeah. He's on YouTube. Find it there, folks. Just put it in. That's a great link.
That's where I spend most of my time. I spend about a good third of the day on YouTube, just going through the different videos and listening.
It's a great resource. Apparently, YouTube is going to be going on cable. I don't know how that's going to work.
Well, it's probably on demand. You'd be able to. It'd probably hook you right up to the internet, to the Google. It's a Google site, so they probably can hook you directly up to Google and
it's all becoming
and
one internet.
right onto YouTube. It'd just be limiting you, but it's just like having internet on your cable.
Yeah, so and that's what the way that they're trying to force the internet down, isn't it, into a limited television type thing.
Well, what I plan to do if they pass that SOPA or whatever, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go around it. I'm going to get me a microwave dish and start making myself as a T1 unit by going right up to the satellite.
Excellent. How would that work?
You can get satellite subscriptions for about $40 a month right now, but I'm just going to wait a little bit. You know, the thing is, if they turn all those military satellites, they could turn all those military satellites to enhance the internet, and you could have free T1 for everybody.
Okay, right. I've got Verb on the line, or waiting to come in here, so I'll just get in. Whilst I'm doing this, should we just play a little tune?
Okay.
Let's have this. This is Elders of Zion, the Sonic Moon, or featured in Gene Wilder's Kubrick's Odyssey. Enjoy.
We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard.
Under the Masonic moon, plans were made by the bankers in the back room. Get the president out of the way and hire Stanley Kubrick. Under the Masonic moon. Under the Masonic moon. Everyone hoped that the boys would come home soon. One more day and they'll drop from the plane and splash into the ocean. Under the Masonic moon. Werner von Braun and his conspirators got a free ride to the States. into Nassau. They just couldn't wait. Under the Masonic moon. Under the Masonic moon, plans were made by the bankers in the back room. The owl sees into the night, and the secret will never be told.
Contact light. Okay, engine stop. We copy you down, Eagle. And quality base. The Eagle has landed.
Hello, we are back, and welcome to the Type 1 Radio Lounge. Megan, you there?
Yes, I am. I am finally here. Sorry about being late.
It's okay, we've just been talking torsion field generators. With the J, Free Energy J, meet Megan.
Hello, Megan.
Hi, good to meet you. Actually, the name is Megan.
Megan, sorry.
Megan, okay. I have you on my Facebook page, so I had to show up for support. Besides, I'm here all the time anyway.
Excellent. Well, I appreciate the support, and again, I apologize for being late. There are a bunch of apprentices around here, and I was giving painting lessons, and there you have it. I completely lost track of time.
Excellent. And we also have Reset on the line. Reset, say hello to Megan.
Hey there, Megan.
Sorry. It's my English ways.
No worries, mate.
So whereabouts are you at the moment, Megan?
I'm currently in Wilmington, Delaware, at Northern Light doing body piercing. So we give them a shout out. Anybody out in Delaware, in the tri-state area, looking to get tattooed by me or tattooed by one of the crew out here, they're all real great guys. And I'm a guest artist out here. A good old friend of mine owns the shop, and so he's got me helping train the apprentices up.
Excellent, excellent.
In addition to tattooing, I do all kinds of other, artwork as well. So it's not just films, but any number of artistic expressions.
And did you have a good Christmas and New Year period?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm actually in the States, so I had the opportunity to spend some time with family, which doesn't happen that often for me because I tend to be abroad.
Excellent. So, where would they be usually then?
Well, I tend to normally be in the Netherlands or elsewhere, but most of my family lives on the East Coast. I've got a couple of members living out on the West Coast of the United States as well.
The Netherlands is a lovely little country. I spend quite a lot of time there myself. My auntie and uncle and cousins live there, and me and my other half go to Amsterdam regularly. It's a beautiful city with lots of... a couple of years ago we went to the only hill in the Netherlands, right near Germany. It was quite bizarre. We're all cycling there with just going up the one hill.
I spend a lot of time over on Arnhem, which is over near the German border, but I happen to love the Netherlands. I think that it's quite a laid-back lifestyle there as compared to, say, the United States. In the United States, people kind of work, they live to work, and in Holland, people work to live, so it's kind of a different mentality.
Yeah, definitely. I think quite a lot of European countries have that outlook, don't they? In France, people are only allowed to work 35 hours a week, which gives them a lot time to spend with their families and drink lots of nice wines and cheese.
Well, it also has to do with how people view themselves as well, because in America, people are often identified with their profession. You are, a lawyer or a doctor or an actor or a garbage man or this or that, and it's not so much about who you are as about what it is you're doing for a living in America. Where in Holland, I think people place a little bit more emphasis on who they are as people.
Yeah, it's the same over here. It's all about your social status rather than the being that resides.
Well, that's it. You how are you supposed to work on spiritual advancement, on many levels if your only concern is how others perceive you?
Yeah.
And if how others perceive you is based entirely on monetary perceived social status that's generated by money, then yeah, you're looking at a situation where some of the most spiritual, valuable people in society are the least valued within our society because they're not generating lots of money.
I completely agree there. So are you a tattoo artist first and foremost, and then your films, or have you been? Which have you been doing the longest there?
Well, I've been making art forever.
Uh-huh.
I've done a lot of political art over the years, or art that's inspired by politics. In fact, I did my first piece of political art when I was 14 years old, about apartheid, which I found absolutely shocking and horrifying. So I've been an artist that's interested in politics, or a political artist, for a good portion of my career. And I find that as an artist, I find tattooing very gratifying because you have a much more intimate relationship with the person who's going to own your art than you do any other way. So I found that to be one really great way of expressing yourself. But it's only one of the many things that I do. It just happens to be one of the better money generators, and actually tattooing is how I fund my filmmaking.
Uh-huh. So so ultimately you're an artist, and you use different means of material, if you will, be it a tattoo, be it a piece of film, be it a painting, for your art to come out there.
Yeah, I'm just sending you a little thing, an image. I just did a collaborative effort with a couple of other artists recently in Roanoke, Virginia, and I know this is radio, but it'll at least give you an idea of the sort of thing when I'm putting something together politically, even with other artists. We might choose to represent visually, we might choose to represent, in an auditory way. It really depends on what the project is and who you're working with, but inevitably the result that you're trying to achieve is the same in the end. You're trying to enlighten, you're trying to educate, and on some level entertain, because if it's not entertaining, then the person is not going to make it to the end. They're not going to get the information out of it if you can't keep their interest.
There's a comedian over here, I don't know whether or not you'll have heard of him, called Peter Kay, and it says, if it's not entertainment, it's not entertaining.
Yeah, I've heard of his stuff. They've got an Australian comedian who's been living in England for a while named Steve Hughes, who does some really brilliant political comedy, and I think that that's a really, really great way to get a point across. They say a picture is worth 1,000 words, but, a joke will stick in your mind as well, and if you can use humor to make a point, then that can be a very, very poignant way of doing it. And anybody who hasn't seen any of Steve Hughes' stuff, I really highly recommend it. He's quite fantastic.
And I suppose Bill Hicks was the genius comic politicist, wasn't he? is an amazing picture. I'll just describe it for the folks, and I'll, with Megan's permission, I shall post this on the friendship agenda shortly. It's sort of Ganesh or with a gas mask. Yeah, describe that. He's got an iPad in one hand, some radioactive material in the other. That's excellent.
Well, it's a comment on what's behind the mask, right? Because we were discussing Anonymous and the Occupy movement, and you're seeing people quite frequently now with a Guy Fawkes mask, you know, which I think is, you know, quite funny. You know, in that, of course, you would know the history of Guy Fawkes very well, and many Americans don't, but I think it's funny that it's being used as, you know, this sort of revolutionary image when, you know, he worked for the Catholic Church.
Yeah. Well, I think people see that and they think more V for Vendetta than Guy Fawkes.
Yeah, and even though V for Vendetta, you know, repeatedly reminds you that it is a Guy Fawkes image. You know, I mean, they talk about the gunpowder plot, you know, in more than one scene in that film, but...
Yeah, and he's always saying, remember the 5th of November.
Right.
Which is, curiously on 5th of November, because of the gunpowder plot, but that is now called Bonfire Night in the UK, and so we have a big bonfire in every town and burn an effigy of Guy Fawkes. There's a little town about 7 miles away from here called Lewis. It's like the capital of Sussex, and they have an ancient tradition of the whole town puts on this sort of fire spectacle all through the town, and then they burn an effigy of the Pope, which I think they're the only place that can still do that for some bizarre reason. Yeah.
Well, you know, I could certainly be down with burning effigies of the Pope, considering the current one we have and the actions that he's taken over the years. Everything from, you know, joyously joining up with the Hitler Youth right through the what's the word I'm looking for? The protecting of pedophiles,
and
you know,
and murdering priests as well.
Yeah.
The other week we had on a Canadian guy called Kevin Arnett, who is exposing the church and the Canadian state's involvement in the internment of native children in the last sort of 100 years leading up, right up until about the 70s. And in that period, 50,000 kids have sort of disappeared and been killed. So those schools, those native schools, they are essentially graveyards. Yeah. So he was on. He's coming over in a couple of months. So we shall be having him on again live, actually in the place where we do the radio.
Apparently the Queen's just been caught with more dead bodies on her property as well.
Oh, yes. About a mile from where Sandringham is, where they spent Christmas, we were debating whether or not the body would have a heart in it, in as though that Prince Philip has just had a recent heart condition where he was rushed into hospital to have that sorted out. Maybe he's nicked somebody's heart.
I was going to say, don't you actually have to have a heart in order to have a heart problem?
Yeah. But,
you know, it's sort of that Tin Man problem, or you know, whatever.
Oh, Lizard Man problem.
I suppose Lizard Man, if you're down with Ike. I can see, you know, Ike sitting there reading the news going, bloody been telling everybody this for ages. Of course there's dead bodies on their property.
Yeah, they just didn't hide this one.
No, not particularly well. You know, you'd think they would be better at it after this many centuries, hiding the dead bodies. But I mean, even if you look at even the founders of this country, you look at Ben Franklin,
Yeah.
and he had that house in, I believe it was in London, it was somewhere in England, where they found dead bodies under the floor in Ben Franklin's abode.
Yeah, I think it could have been High Wycombe.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he was part of the Hellfire Club, wasn't he, with Francis Dashwood? Is that the guy's name?
Yeah, absolutely. He was part of the Hellfire Club, so
Yeah.
he had a taste for more than just the French prostitutes, apparently.
Yeah. Lovely people running the world, isn't it?
They really are. You know, they're absolutely the cream of the crop. I was speaking with Jordan Maxwell, and he was saying, you know, they're all criminals. And I said, well, if you're bad at it, you're a criminal. If you're good at it, you're a politician.
Mm. Yeah. They just wear suits. Better suits.
You think that you're immune from prosecution, and unfortunately, in many cases, you are.
Well, I suppose that's because they're all part of the law society, and they know how that system works. Whereas when the general public go into a court, they don't understand the rules, and so they get caught up and then take on liability.
Well, the first thing is they acquiesce to be tried under law that isn't common law.
Exactly.
If you acquiesce to be tried under maritime law, then you've just essentially handed your rights away. And most people don't realize the difference between maritime law and common law, and so they essentially, you know, hand their rights away to the courts without having a clue what's being done. I mean, their rights are handed away even as children in this country. When your parents sign your birth certificate and they get you a social security number, they've just gone and, you know, essentially signed your life away to someone else. It's a legally binding contract, and of course, you didn't actually sign it yourself. So in my opinion, it really ought to be null and void once you turn 18.
Yeah, well, I suppose the way they look at it is that they're acting as your guardian until you, at such time, you take control of it. So, because not a lot of people know that they have the ability to take control of that entity, then the government just keep control. We are in the eyes of the law and the government, you know, children still, even though we're all grown adults.
Well, because most people refuse to take their sovereignty. If you grasp your own sovereignty, and you live in that way, and you take responsibility for yourself as an adult, then there wouldn't be this situation. But people like to pass the buck. You know, so and so is not letting me do this, and so isn't letting me do that. But you know, if you start within yourself and you take responsibility for your own sovereignty, then this situation can't occur. And most people are not willing to take control of their lives, to wrest control of their lives back away from the media, from the government, from all of those institutions that are put in place to brainwash people.
Megan, we have one of our illustrious hosts on the Type1 radio. It is Lobo.
Hello.
Lobo, you there?
This is
Hello, Lobo.
stepped out really fast. Oh, sorry.
That's not Lobo.
Okay, that's Ladybug. Hello there, Ladybug. Happy New Year, my friend. So, Megan, I'd like to congratulate you on the win of the best movie. Was it
We won Best Outlook for the Future at the Shishama Film Festival, in New York City, which was brilliant. It was great. Freeman came out, and Jamie came out, and Monty came out, and they all supported me. Freeman did the question and answer period with me afterwards. In fact, Freeman is, of course, interviewed in the film, as is David Icke, who we were talking about earlier, Jordan Maxwell, Max Egan. All were good enough to give their time. Another gentleman, Dr. George Rhodes, also good enough to give his time to be interviewed, which really permitted me to make a film that had such really fantastic folks in it. It was a real privilege and an honor, I think. So I'm quite happy that people are seeing it now and are appreciating it.
Yeah, yeah. We will have Freeman on a little later, once we can bring him in. So yeah, you can.
I just would like to point out to everyone listening that that film is absolutely free. It's free to download. You're welcome to burn as many copies as you like, distribute them in any way that you see fit, as long as you're not charging for them. I'm totally down with it. It's available for free on the internet. The film is Vox Populi, Methods of Manipulation. You can find it on YouTube. If you put the information in Google, you'll find torrents to download it. So please, everybody, feel free, have a look, pass it around.
And you can also find it on your Free Verbage WordPress page. Is that correct?
Yes, you can find it there. You can find it on the COTO report pages. If you put in COTO, C-O-T-O report, that's an alternative news website that I work with. And all of my films and interviews can be found there as well, along with some other films that were done by some of the other members, and it also a lot of current relevant news that comes up every day. The people that run that are the same people that run the Food Freedom website, so I mean, really great folks.
Excellent. And one question I'd like to ask is in the methods of manipulation, and he seems to have been having a sort of crisis in intelligence. I don't know what you make of it. Charlie Veitch?
Oh, yes. Well, I have to say that actually the clips that I used from Charlie were quite limited. I went back through all of the clips of all of the different people that I had interviewed. And although Charlie's interview was highly entertaining and I very much enjoyed going and talking with him, I found that there didn't seem to be a very large chunk of relevant information to the film, whereas some of his earlier, I guess you could call street performances, which were quite heavily based on things like Bill Hicks and whatnot, I found a bit more relevant. And so I did use a few clips of his earlier street performances and just a couple of short clips of what I spoke to with him and about, but Charlie is an anarchist, and Charlie likes to ruffle feathers, and, you know, I think he saw a perfect opportunity to ruffle a few feathers there, and therefore he did, and, you know, he seems to be, you know, waffling back and forth about some of the things that he's seen and some of the information, but, you know, I have seen a lot of a lot of those places firsthand. I happen to be from Pennsylvania. I have family in New York. I have friends right near Ground Zero, and they're of a completely different opinion, of course, than those that the BBC put them in touch with. And you're dealing with, you know, with a group like the BBC, you're going to deal with a very one-sided batch of information. You're going to deal with the people that they've put you in touch with, and particularly if you're dealing with, you know, any sort of CIA type individuals, which they did while they were there. They dealt with the feds and the CIA and certain other, you know, groups. Apparently, you're gonna receive, you know, incredibly skewed propaganda. So, you know, whether Charlie changed his mind or whether, you know, they said something to him that made him feel unsafe, I can't tell you, but it is rather a shame that he chose in changing his mind to attack those who had been supporting him and accused them of being cultists and this sort of thing. I think that's really the big shame of it. People have the ability and the opportunity to change their minds, but to demonize others because you had a change of heart, I think that was where my real problem lay with what Charlie had done.
Yeah. I mean, if he wants to change his mind or his opinion on something, then he's a free spirit and he can do whatever he wants. That's just the reality that he's going to be, living there. But yeah, to vilify other people because they still hold the same views, I don't know. That seems a bit like a sleeper. He's like a little sleeper in the truth movement. But I mean, there is so many. From talking to Dr. Judy Wood, the amount of hassle that, I mean, she's not even a conspiracy theorist, and the amount of hassle she's from the truth movement of the information that she's been, coming out with, is crazy. It's crazy that there's other scientists there that maybe because of their book sale, they don't really want to get on board with the information that she's presenting, which
well, a lot of people don't want to get involved with things that they can't readily identify. And she's talking about something that they can't readily identify. When you talk about torsion weapons, when you talk about energy weapons, when you talk about things that people are not necessarily familiar with, you're going to get a certain backlash. But when you look at what she's done, which is just to look at the evidence, not to look at what other people have said, but to look at the photographic and the film and the evidence, and then as an expert in her field to come up with theories for what might have done this. And when you look at it, you do start to say, well, yeah, where the hell is all that freaking steel? Where the hell is all that concrete? How did that concrete end up in such an enormous dust cloud, so much of it? I've seen pancake buildings, pancake as a result of earthquake and other things, and there was a hell of a lot more rubble from a small pancake building than there seemed to be in the photos of 9/11. I mean, you're seeing ambulances and other cars that were, literally ground level, still ground level, and you look at the height of what the structure should be behind it, and it's a freaking mind blower. I cannot say, I'm not a demolition expert, so I can't say how those towers came down. But what I can tell you is that they fell at free fall speed. They shouldn't have done that. Yeah. You can give a list of things that definitely did not happen. I can't say for sure what did happen, but I can tell you what did not happen. And what did not happen is what the freaking 9/11 Commission, report would like us to believe.
Yeah, and it's bizarre that the only thing that was left appeared to be the dust and paper. If something was on fire, you would assume that the paper would be the first thing to go and not the only thing to survive.
Well, that's it. And when you look at the images, you see the giant fireball burn itself out.
Yeah.
I've worked with high temperatures before. I've done glass blowing. I've done ceramics. And in order to get materials to a temperature hot enough to melt concrete, you have to have a controlled burn. You can't have the burn being absorbed by open air and being dissipated like that. You have to contain and control the burn in an insulated environment in order to reach a temperature that's going to start turning concrete into glass. And concrete will turn to glass long before the steel will melt, because the steel is the framing for the kiln that you're using to melt things like concrete into glass. And I've melted concrete into glass. It will turn to glass. We've done that before. We used to put concrete on pottery when I was in university. Take it up to 2,000. Take it up to 2,000 or so degrees, or a little bit more than that Fahrenheit, And yeah, it will melt, but you have to make an effort over a period of time, over hours and hours, with a controlled burn in an area that's very, very, very well insulated with layers and layers of insulating brick in a kiln in order to achieve a temperature like that.
Yeah.
If jet fuel with kerosene burnt steel the way that they're claiming it melts steel, then everybody's kerosene heaters would be in a big puddle by the end of winter.
Okay. We have a caller on 3 3 Sounds like having a party.
Something like this every now and again. Is that coming from
Okay.
Bug?
You know, who's having the party? Okay, we will go for a tune, and we'll sort out this craziness. If everybody wants to ring in, the number is 357. You can go to the blog talk page and Skype in from there. This is a little tune called Type1 Radio Lounge. Lobo, are you there?
Hello, sexy Type1.
Hey,
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, my friend. Say hello to Megan.
Hello.
Hello, good afternoon, or evening as the case may be.
Good afternoon, and big congratulations to you and your wonderful Best Outlook Award, right?
Thank you very much. Yes, I'm quite chuffed. I made the film just for those who might want to watch it, and I wasn't expecting to have that kind of reaction, so I'm really absolutely chuffed with the response to the film.
Well, that's an enormous award. That's a wonderful honor to be bestowed with, so congratulations. That's excellent. Thank you for your hard work. Really quick, thank you to Free Energy J. He sent a torsion field generator in the mail, and look, I'm unwrapping in my hands right now. And we also have the distinct honor of hosting Beavis and Butthead here, Brett and Brandon.
Hello there, Brett. Hello there, Brandon.
Hi, everybody's in the house here. Full house at Lobo's place.
Hey, guy.
Is that Reset on the line?
Yeah, it is.
My doppelganger brother. Sorry, Megan. We're a big family, and you're part of it now, and you have to put up with all of us.
No worries. I'm used to that sort of insanity. You know, I have to say that at least 6 or 7 times while I was interviewing Freeman, Diva seemed to get set off by something and would go on a barking jag, and then it would be like, okay, Diva, chill out. I find the teacup poodle quite funny. It was the last sort of thing I expected when I walked through the door into Freeman's house.
She's adorable. Have you friended her yet on the friendship agenda? Yeah.
No, I have not friended the dog officially. I think the easiest way to friend her is just to give her some bacon.
Yep.
I agree.
Okay, I have 2 things going on really quick. I'm sorry to interrupt, but I have a torsion field generator in my hand, and I got Freeman calling me on Skype. He's testing his mic, so he's going to come on in a minute. But
Oh,
okay,
brilliant.
So what we have,
Shall I Skype him into the conference, and then that'll be easier?
Absolutely, I think that would be brilliant.
Okay, Freeman, we're bringing you in.
Uh-oh. I think he wanted to test his mic first, so really quick. I want to
I'm bringing it. It's live on air.
crank his ass.
Find out if it works in a moment.
Hello there, Freeman. Happy New Year, Freeman.
Oh, yeah, we can. He was having these issues earlier, so...
Okay, well, we'll leave him in the background. You're on the call, so if you get your mic sorted, say hey. So, yeah, about the torsion field generator. How'd you like yours, Phil? Ours are pretty sexy.
Well, yeah, it's quite sexy. It's very simple and streamlined. What I have in my hand is looks like a motor. It's a motor with the black red wires coming out, and they're basically clips on the end. And apparently these clip to my car battery, so we're going to test this out.
We're going to plop ourselves up, in other words.
Yeah. What mysterious white powder you also sent here, Sid?
So, Megan, I don't know whether you're okay with the Jay makes some little torsion field generators from like a little sort of Dremel battery, and then it's got rare earth magnets on the spindle coming out of it. So it effectively creates a little torsion field coming out of it. So we're all quite excited, as you can hear, because we've all just got these little Christmas goodies in the post.
It sounds like good fun, you know. It sounds like getting your hand on Hutchison's kind of equipment and getting the opportunity to play with that. That would also be quite humorous and fun.
Yeah. I'd love to get John on the show. He's a very interesting guy to converse with.
Nassim Haramein has also been doing some interesting research into torsion field mathematics and.
Yes. Brett and Brandon recently visited a guy called Randy Powell, North Carolina, and he is into sort of vortex maths, which sort of is using the same thing that Nassim's talking about with the the double porous. Isn't it?
Sorry, go on.
Oh, you can watch Randy Powell on the Miss Emily 1 channel. I was there with Brett and Brandon, and
cool.
Freeman, by the way.
Hello, Freeman.
Hello.
Happy New Year, brother.
See old Randy Powell and a couple of other vortex mathematicians tell you just how simple vortex math really is. We're putting everything we do up on the Miss Emily channel. It's all linked up on Freeman TV and freemantv.com. But, you know, they plain and simple say that this vortex math is the simplest thing ever once you figure it out.
That's right. They were showing us how it all worked, and it's a funny thing. We met up with Randy, and then we went over to Asheville to meet up with Randy's partner, Gregor, who's also working on vortex technology. And Gregor is putting up a Tesla tower in his backyard this week.
Wicked.
So we're going to see how that works. We're going to see just what comes of that. And
see how long it is before the local authorities come and have it shut down? Is this what we're...
That's the experiment.
Well, I did experiments back in the 80s using pulse generated magnetic fields through a torsion device, and it had a tendency to move the Earth grids. And the government came back, but the remote viewers attacked myself and my roommate at the time.
Wild.
Well, you know how to hear her off, right?
What I did, I produced the field by... You've heard of Beck pulsing magnetic fields. What I did was hook a strobe light through. I coiled it around a styrofoam donut, and send a high voltage pulse through it at about 8 cycles per second, and the energy grid actually moves.
Jay.
Yeah.
It's Brett, man. I was wondering if I could stick those 2 pins on the end of your machine onto my cock.
It won't make it. I don't think it'll make it grow any. might make it longer lasting.
Fuck, you know me too well, Danny. I want a vortex wand of my own, dude.
Well, you got one. Your whole body is one. Think of your feet as one end of the vortex wand and your head as the other.
Yeah.
You're nothing but a vortex wand.
My mom is nothing but a vortex wand.
Oh dear.
Just think of your penis as the plug-in to knowledge, that's all.
Then I'm good to go.
Women have all the smarts. It's men that are kind of dumb. They got all the DNA. They got all. They got all. Hey, we're missing a chunk. But we're double beings, really, and it doesn't matter because when you're in the physical embodiment, you're still a double being. In the fifth dimensional, you're androgynous if you want to be, or you can be male or female. So it's your choice. I think when I enter fifth dimensional reality, I'd like to be a female because I like beauty. And I would like to see what I'd look like in a female 5D dimensional female body, personally.
There you go, meta guy.
I think I might just go straight to all these. And, yeah, I'd rather, instead of being individual beings, I like to think of it as being just one big...
Well, when you're up in the higher levels, they're all collective, and you're joined with others, and you're like a symphony.
That's right, and that's the really interesting stuff that's with this vortex technology is the internal application of it. Because all these people are working on the external devices, but, you know, they're all mystics and they're all, you know, trippy fools just like the rest of us. And so it's interesting looking at how this vortex works when, Jay, what you were talking about your body being the vortex and the torsion field. And so when we open up that torsion field and spin it a, you know, very rate, then that's what happens. We do enter that unity consciousness, and that's the true effect of the vortex. The external stuff's just fun and
right. It's just something that you can do by yourself. Remember, technology, anything external, is something that you can do internally, and the real true technology is being able to do it internally.
Well, I mean, when you look at everything is according to scale, but from one scale to the next, it's not particularly different. The way that atoms work and have their orbits is not all that different from the way that planets work and have their orbits. And so when you look at anything, it's all spinning at a certain rate, no matter what the size of it.
Yeah, I really like the Max Egan sort of video where he's talking about the man in the chair, sat in the chair. He sort of thinks he's still, but then he goes through all the different speeds he's going at, and which all the different directions that the universe is spinning, and he sort of at the end of it, he comes up with a number of about 1 million miles per second, something like that, in 7 directions, just whilst you sat down, which just seems pretty.
Well, that's the nice thing about time and space is that they're indivisible. I tried to explain this to people, and they kind of blink at you, and I said, well, if you travel back in time, you also have to travel back in space, because if you travel either forwards or backwards in time and you don't go anywhere in space, you're going to find yourself off planet pretty damn quick.
Yeah.
Hey, you're getting very...
Follow the spiral.
Son, have you seen the documentary Thrive? I think it was the one where they were talking about these, they had like this image of the globe, and then there were these torsion. I think they called them torus fields.
Yeah.
And there, I mean, this is getting along the same thing, right? Kind of everything has this kind of torsion field to it. I mean, everything in the universe essentially seems like is vibrating and spinning.
Yeah. There's so we're expanding out of like a white hole,
Well, the longer I stay in America, the more I expand, let me tell you.
All that good Monsanto food for you.
I'm telling you, I'm expanding right out of these genes these days.
I'm happening at every level, so there you go.
Yeah, first it'll be horses, then it'll be elephants. But remember, elephants don't forget.
You don't have to remind them not to? I should have been an elephant then today. I was so busy with teaching painting and working on a painting that I completely forgot everything else. My brain went into another reality, and everything else kind of disappeared for a little while.
That sounds pleasant.
Cool.
Sort of the creative quantum field.
Well, that's the thing. We shift from one field to the next, and that's where our growth really happens, is when we shift.
Was that, did the elephants, you remember if they...
Smoke weed every day.
The question is, does that improve elephant memory or make it worse? It's hard to say. Actually, it improves their long-term memory, but it makes their short-term memory worse, and they don't remember where they packed their trunk.
Yeah. Oh, that's the weed.
Yeah, where they stashed it.
Yeah. What do you mean you gave it to some hyenas, Bob? What were you thinking?
Carolyn posted an article on the page today about a 125-year-old woman who recently died, but she claimed to smoke weed. Chain smoke it every day. And she said that helped her to live to 125.
Okay, getting started right now.
I honestly reckon it'd be a good thing for my grandmother. She doesn't seem to have the capability of relaxing even at 90. So, unfortunately, they don't allow me to prescribe my own grandmother marijuana. So it's real pity.
Well,
But
if you're
definitely improve her
sovereign, you
appetite.
should be able to. If you're sovereign, you're probably able to prescribe.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, she's also sovereign. It'd be a difficulty getting her to take it. But it's good to be quite honest with you.
Yeah.
Tell her it's a food additive.
It's a food additive, right? She had an argument with me over her food. She said to me, she says, I don't understand why people bother with all this organic food. I never ate organic food in my whole life, and I grew up just fine. And I pointed out to her, I said, Grandma, when you were growing up, all the food was organic.
Yeah, exactly. And it wasn't contaminated with all the pesticides. There's a really interesting part of your film, I thought, where you're talking about the pesticide things, and you're saying if it's a bad sign if the insects don't want to eat it.
Yeah. Max was saying that they're growing food that nothing else will consider eating. That's really if the bugs don't want to eat it, why would you want to eat it?
Yeah.
You look at McDonald's food. You could lose a French fry in your car. Find it 3 years later, it won't have changed.
No, and
if mold doesn't consider it lunch, why would you?
And they're not actually potato either, are they? They're like a modified starch in a...
I'm sure somehow they're made of corn. It seems like everything somehow in the United States is made of some sort of corn derivative.
Yeah, you have corn syrup in everything, don't you?
Yeah, of course, corn syrup and everything. There's corn in everything. I reckon if you dismantle the U.S. Senate, you'll find that most of them are primarily composed of corn.
Maybe we call corn syrup something else over here, because we don't appear to have as much of that over here. There's a lot of the sunflower oil, but I mean that's a different oil, isn't it? And there's quite a lot of people getting allergies to corn syrup, aren't they? Everyone's becoming celiac.
You know, I'm not necessarily sure that the allergy is to corn syrup. If the corn syrup had actually been made from corn, it wasn't biologically altered in a fashion to make it unedible to mice and other animals. You know, if it makes rats sick, don't you think that's a signal? Because when I was a teenager and I was a punk rocker and I lived in a squat, we had a rat there that was the size of a small cat that we were trying to get rid of. And we fed this thing an entire loaf of bread soaked in Clorox bleach. And it didn't even make the rat sick. The thing kept coming back for more. It was fat and happy. It ran around for weeks after that. And, you know, I reckon if you can feed the thing a half a tub of Clorox bleach and it remains fat and happy, but the corn kills it, that there's a real damn issue with the corn.
Oh, yeah. And what is it, what's that mystery ingredient in McDonald's that makes you crave McDonald's when you're totally trash and hungover? What is that about there, man? Like, McDonald's is the greatest hangover remedy in the United States for some reason, for a lot of people.
It's good for you.
I don't know. I think I'm more the English breakfast type.
Yeah.
I go for a full English breakfast.
Definitely.
For the morning.
In fact, I had an English breakfast today, and I chipped one of my teeth.
Ooh. Oh. What, on the bacon?
No, on the. It was quite a posh breakfast where they had fried bread, but it was granary bread. So I think it was probably one of the seeds from the granary bread.
Well, here's a horrible thought. They've decided in the United States that it's perfectly okay to replace the wheat flour and rye flour and corn flour and any type of other edible flours and other things like that with wood fiber, wood cellulose. So we are now being fed wood cellulose here in the United States on a regular basis. Anything that says fiber added, a lot of the cereals, a lot of the breads, essentially you could go out and gnaw on a tree, you get about as much nutritional value out of it.
So they're creating loads of beavers?
Yeah, essentially. Even the beavers, you know, treat their wood first. They soak it underwater for a little while before actually eating, you know, any bits of it. But yeah, completely undigestible, no nutritional value, and you put a piece of bread in the United States on a cutting board and cut it, and it's got about as much wood as the damn cutting board underneath it.
And what is it with, is it the Food and Drug Administration have just made walnuts, they've just reclassed them as a drug?
Yeah, they said that they've tried to do this with the pomegranate thing. Anytime that you claim that there's a health benefit to eating a particular food, particularly if that particular food is supposedly capable of curing any sort of disease, then that automatically makes it a drug, and then it falls under the jurisdiction of the FDA, which is absolutely ludicrous. You know, there'll be Jews all over the world in prison for feeding people chicken soup soon. Bitch, you have a cold, let me get you some chicken soup. No, can't do it. Food and Drug Administration says you have to be licensed to make a chicken soup.
Yeah, they'll be licensed. Well, I suppose it is licensed if if it's kosher.
Yeah, that's it. That's another group of insanity. I love some of the dietary laws. The one for not mixing meat with dairy comes from a single line in the Talmud that says, "Thou shalt not cook a kid in its own mother's milk."
Yeah, probably talking about babies.
That's gross.
Yeah. No, we're going to assume they're talking about goats because you'd have to produce an awful lot of breast milk to boil a kid in it. I've known one or two women who were producing that much, you know, but they're not in the majority.
Yeah, and it's interesting how the like Jewish kosher and halal is very similar. Jay.
It makes a certain amount of sense in that those dietary prescriptions come from a very similar area. if you look at the things that there's prescriptions against, the prescriptions are generally against food that goes bad very, very, very quickly, particularly in a very hot climate. So things like shellfish, shellfish, if you don't cook it while it's still alive, it's going to go bad on you. So you need to make sure your shellfish is in good condition, and you need to make sure that the water you're pulling it out of is clean. People have been pissing in the Med for how long? I wouldn't eat shellfish out of there. But when you look at these dietary prescriptions, undercooked pork years and years ago would cause trichinosis. People would get trichinosis and assume, that God hated pigs. So a lot of these dietary prescriptions are things that make sense within a sort of non-technological, very, very warm climate type of information.
Yeah. So it's specific to the needs
of the region. Yeah. And when you get out of an area where you don't have that situation, where you have good quality cold water, shellfish, and clean water, and things like that, then you find that those cultures don't have a sensitivity to or a religious prohibition against eating those sorts of things.
Yeah.
So you'll find a very similar among all the Semitic groups.
Yeah. Now people have fridges and they can just do that. I was watching a program about I think there were a Russian tribe right up in Siberia, and their fridge was just outside. They just used to place all the fish and all the yak or moose that they have up there. Just leave the meat outside in the fridge.
I had one of those fridges in university during the winter. To hang everything out our window and hope the pigeons didn't get it.
How did you go to university?
In Philadelphia. But for a while I had no refrigerator, so we would hang everything out the window in cold weather while we had no refrigerator.
What are the chances of us getting onto refrigerators? We're supposed to have a new one delivered to our house within the next hour and a half.
Synchronicity, my friend.
A little bit.
Talking of synchronicity, our good friend Alan Green, he's got an event in New York, a 6-book synchronicity in the Synchronicity, which is in New York on the 31st of January at the Trilling Company Theatre in New York. So if anybody's in New York on that day, check that out. I think he's going to record it, and he's most welcome to upload it to the Type1 Lounge here. Where's that noise coming from?
Oh, Marty. Really quick on Alan Abadesi, he sent me a book, Look at All the Happy Creatures. I'm like 12 chapters into this thing, and he's a phenomenal writer, this guy also. It's up there with Orwell and, Robert Anson, your favorite. Awesome. So, yeah, I recommend it to everybody so far. It's great. So, also, has anybody been to the Gathering of Nations? Eden or
Megan, did you?
No, I've not personally been to any of those sorts of gatherings.
Okay. Well, okay.
I'd love to go, but go on.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, because we're all kind of like talking about the Gathering of Nations is basically where all the native tribes join powwow. So it's going to be the end of April, I think, April 26th in Albuquerque, New Mexico. So we're tentatively making plans for that. Extend the invite to everybody.
This is a test of the emergency reality system. called Freemason Jar Wine, which will be a concoction of beauty and wonder in a Freemason jar, and it will be blessed with awesomeness. So look out for that, friends of Freeman.
Brett's line of wine.
Thank you for this test of the reality broadcasting system. You are now back to your regular program.
So Brett's going to put out a line of wine inside of Mason jars.
Called Freemason jar.
Freemason wine.
Excellent. And,
You guys are going to get drunk, and it's going to change your chakras and all different ascended bodies, and your like mind control. It erases mind control programs. It's like an elixir of occult goodness.
And it gets you
Welcome.
drunk.
And I'm not joking.
All right. Oh, who we calling? Oh, it's Dad and good guy.
So it's like
hello.
Hello.
Oh.
How are you?
Very well.
I came round to your house before and you weren't in.
Oh no, we sent you a message. I should have called.
Yeah, I just got your message now.
So how's it all going?
Megan, this is Steve, and is Chick there with you?
I'm here.
Good day, Steve.
Okay.
Hi, Megan.
How you doing?
I'm very well. It's a pleasure to talk to you.
Pleasure to speak with you as well. I'm having quite a bit of fun. Nice way to spend the afternoon.
Excellent.
We've just been out for dinner at a friend's house and we had to cut short our set and say, sorry, we've got to go.
We've got to go talk to a superstar called to Verb.
Superstar hardly, but you know, student of reality certainly.
Project, Steve, how did you like the device?
Well, we've got them. It took me a few days to track them down because it went to a different sort of post office.
Yeah.
And because it wasn't sent parcels, because you sent it such special day, it went all around the place. Now it took me a minute to get them, but I've got them, and yeah, we're working on them.
Yeah.
We need to all do a Skype conference with you, so we know what to do with them.
You got a van or a car?
Yes.
Okay, now radiate the vehicle engine, and if it kicks up in revelation, speeds up, you take your carburetor and turn it down, and it will save you gas mileage.
Right.
Now, what you get to do, it will run on that way, but it'll seem like it's running out of gas if you run out of gas. But the thing is, it'll run. If you want it to run smoothly, you got to change the timing set up in it.
Okay. Right. I was thinking about getting a generator and running the generator with that. Does that work?
Well, it runs. I sent you a battery charger.
Yeah.
It should work off the battery charger. You should be able to connect clamps by the color, and it should run.
What the machine, the devices should run.
No, Jay. Steve means to run the generator off the power of the torsion field. Is that what you mean, Steve?
Yes, that's exactly what I mean. Yeah, so we can produce electricity to run stuff.
I'm not sure about that yet.
It's the same principle as a car, because these generators I'm talking about run on gas.
Yeah.
So you can charge up the generator to generate electricity.
What I'm saying is, you can take a car engine and put a generator on to the car engine. You know where the whatchamacallit comes off the engine. And you can run to produce electricity.
Right.
But once the engine is energized, it will do the implosions, and once you adjust it to run on the implosions, which means you gotta advance the spark, so to speak, it will, engine will turn a generator that will power your house.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping to do.
Yeah, because the generators have still got a combustion engine inside.
And the thing is that all that comes out the exhaust is a cold wave, so to speak.
Yeah.
Because of the implosion that it causes. It's the same thing that deals with the torsion fields dealing with the torus, so to speak.
Yeah, the torus, yeah. I think
it's all interrelated, and if you use it that way, you can. If you don't adjust the spark, it'll still run. If you run out of gas, it'll just sound like you need gas.
Yeah.
But the thing is, when you run in a torsion field, it runs all the frequencies instead of the higher ones. I'm working with Reset right now, produce a field using organite, where the organite is spun, and it creates a field that's nothing but higher frequency.
Yeah. Sonic and I were talking about it the other day there, about putting a rare earth magnet in the organite and also charging it up with a generator.
Yeah.
Like a sucker punch, yeah?
Yeah, basically, but it'll be all the frequencies except that the quartz will align to certain frequencies.
Right. Wow.
What would be a good thing to use for a cone mold?
Go ahead, Reset.
Oh, Jay, I was just going to ask you, what do you think would be a good thing to use for a cone mold? The closest thing I could think would be some kind of funnel for gasoline or something, but it's got kind of a funny...
Now, get a martini glass. You know, like a martini glass from the dollar store.
Oh, a martini
plastic
glass,
one.
okay.
Yeah. Just make sure you spray it with plenty of lube. Ask Lobo about lube.
Yeah, martini glass, that makes
Hey,
sense.
Lobo, we listened to your show today, the Christmas one.
Uh-oh.
Fantastic. I want your mother to be my mother.
You love your own mother.
Yeah, but Phil's mother likes him to smoke marijuana, so that's mine doesn't.
Oh, I reckon there's nothing wrong with loving other people's mothers.
You mother lover.
Oh, she was great. That was a great show, so well done.
Yeah, run Jeremy.
We really enjoyed it, yeah.
Classic.
And do you know what? It was great to hear Ladybug as well.
Yeah. Oh, who's this gal? This lovely lady right here.
I'm here. Hi.
April! Hi.
Hi, Ladybug.
Hi. I've been listening to you all the time. Like this whole I was here when happened when they were looking for Lobo, and the dog started barking, and because I heard you say the word hello, and that's a cue.
Oh.
Yeah.
Did you get your eggs in the end?
Yeah, we were worried at the end because you didn't have eggs for your cake and then it cut off.
I did. I got my eggs and I cut the cake.
Yeah.
Did you build a chicken coop?
No, I had to go to the store.
It was a cliffhanger. Will they get their eggs?
Oh my God.
So what is this now, the chicken coop before the eggs?
Yeah.
Well, that's the way it always is. You design things before they're created.
We're going to smoke another one and then plan the chicken coop again. But never build it.
What are you going to do? Smoke another one?
We're going to smoke another one, plan the chicken coop, build it again.
Okay, well, maybe after a little bit of...
Hi, this is Ron Jeremy. You're listening to Sonic.
Smoke weed every day.
Just what I'm going to do right now.
Okay, right, it's time for smoke break. If anybody wants to sing in who is listening, the number is 347-205-9657. Just come and hang out with the gang on the Type 1 Radio Lounge. I'm going to play a tune that was on the holiday show, and it just reminds me, this epitomises the 80s for me. This is Alan Parsons and Eye in the Sky. That was the Alan Parsons. Yeah, that tune, it sort of, I never really understood the lyrics, or never really listened to the lyrics until quite recently. Thinking, I just thought he was saying something completely different to what it actually says.
That's quite Orwellian, eh?
Yeah.
They're busy putting together a machine that they want to be able to read people's thoughts with the machine, and that's just a disturbing idea.
That's a big brother.
Is that not Project Bluebeam, no?
No, Project Bluebeam, I believe, is the one where they're looking to project image into people's minds.
Oh, the
right. Yeah. And that's also it coupled with potentially with a lot of holographic technology.
Yeah. Which we now know exists perfectly.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a lot of evidence of really beautiful holograms to begin with. It's a strange noise.
Yeah.
Can you mute your mic, Jay?
Yeah.
Sorry. Sorry, I don't mean if you've got something to say, it's just if you're coughing or something.
So really quick, guys, that instrumental before Eye in the Sky, the Alan Parsons project, it's the name of the instrumental before Eye in the Sky is called Sirius, S-I-R-I-U-S.
Yeah.
And really quick, Dude Face and I've been talking, and we've been sharing, we've been watching old clips, old TV shows on YouTube, because YouTube now, the internet, the Type 1 telephone, is our whole childhood is online, on demand.
Yeah,
you can watch any commercial, any TV show, any TV theme song at your fingertips right now. We've been watching Buck Rogers and stuff like that. And it's amazing.
I used to love Buck Rogers.
I have to admit that I've also been sucked into that recently, looking at some of the symbolism and stuff in some of the older shows, and I found myself watching The Tomorrow People, which I haven't seen since I was about 12.
Did you get on your States?
We did. I'm a bit odd, so I was kind of into Doctor Who and The Tomorrow People, and a lot of things that you kind of had to go out of your way to find.
Yeah, cool, of course. Yeah. But we always thought, when we saw American sci-fi, we always realised how lame the British sci-fi was.
It was lame, but it was done with a better sense of humour.
Yeah.
American bodily functions are funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when we got things like Buck Rogers, that was like, wow.
Yeah, and Star Trek, we were just like,
wow, that's high tech. Wow. Flashing lights.
Doors open
Wow, that's absolutely correct. Brilliant.
Yeah. Yeah, they'd have somebody behind a bush kind of shaking a tree in Britain, kind of going, it's alive! Oh my God, stay away!
So, what Doctor Who do you know? Do you know Tom Baker and John Pertwee?
Yeah, Tom Baker was the one when I was a kid that we used to always see.
Definitely.
Yeah, the guy with a big scarf.
And he did. Yes. He was the one that did the most. Doctor Who so far.
My personal favorite was there's a really brilliant scene where it's absolutely pouring rain out, and he knocks on the door, and the guy answers the door, and he asks him if he's got a glass of water. Just little stuff like that.
Yeah, or they're just about to have a nuclear explosion somewhere, and he pulls out a bag of jelly beans.
Jelly babies.
And like, apparently none of his stuff was scripted. He just did it all himself. He just turned up and ripped the script up and come in and just done it what he wanted to do.
A true lovey.
Because he is a lunatic,
He
Tom
is.
Baker is mental. When he's on TV, he's just like, oh God.
He is. His eyes are like just wild.
He says he went off to be a Franciscan monk once, yeah? And he said he found all the spiritual stuff really terrible and boring, but he got a really big hard-on underneath his cassock. He said that was the best bit about it.
I actually used to tattoo a Franciscan monk regularly, and all of his tattoos had to be hidden under his habit. He couldn't have anything showing. They eventually excommunicated his ass.
Well, he should have just had a robe tattooed all over his body. And then
there you go.
Then no one would know.
Yeah.
Just to say hello to Herb Guy. Hello, Herb Guy.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Hey, Herb.
Hey.
Good. Hi.
How's that move going, brother?
What's that?
How's the move?
I still
Have you
didn't
found
hear
somewhere
you.
to live yet?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're
in transition.
yeah, it's.
You're not on a truck with Brett, are you?
I didn't get
You're not living on
that.
a truck with Brett, are you?
The accent's throwing me, guys. I'm sorry.
You're not living in a truck with Brett, are you?
I'm not doing that. No.
No, Brett. Oh,
No, my wife's mom grudgingly let her move in, and so that's
That's where you're at.
It's something. We're doing all right. It's not ideal probably for anybody, but we're doing all right.
I was without a place of official residence for the last 2 years, and 6 months ago I got a place. So of course I haven't been there in 3 months. So I'm like, is this for real? I'm now paying for a place to live that I am not living in. I think I was better off not having a home.
You were better off on the road, yeah.
Wait a minute, is Reset still on the line?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, so we have the two sets of Brandon and Brett here, and we have the doppelgangers meeting up here.
You're at your house then?
Yeah, the film.
Yeah, Brandon and Brett are here, and just to warn you guys, Brett does not come with an off switch.
Yeah, we know. Free your mind!
Yeah, good luck with that one.
So when are we going to Hawaii on Monday?
That's right, Hawaii on Monday, and it's interesting. We're talking with Gregor, our buddy from Asheville, who's working on all the vortex technology, and we're going to be dragging out to Hawaii with us.
Excellent.
Wow.
He's going to meet up with Nassim Harriman's out there, Jamie Hanover's out there.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, well, say hi to Nassim Harriman from us.
Yes, and
Say the UK sends them big love.
Nassim, hi.
yes,
Where are you at?
Physics is caution, Taurus. He's great. I love him.
Brett, how long are you going to Hawaii?
Brandon, seriously, get him on the show, brother. Get him
Yeah.
on the show.
That's your show. Brendan.
Your mission
Mission
to accept it. Get Nassim Harriman.
Video.
I think Reset was out.
We're going to be in Hawaii for a month. I'm coming back to live with Lobo.
Yeah.
I'm just going with Lobo and Ladybug too.
We're all
Are
coming.
you guys gonna?
Well, I'm hoping to get out to Hawaii later in the year as well.
Yeah.
I may be in Maui.
You stay in your house, Megan.
Yeah, you paid for it. You've got to stay there.
Stay there.
No more traveling for you.
I had to call my damn landlord. I got stuck here in the States for a few months. I called my landlord. I said, look, is it okay if a mate of mine moves in and rents one of my rooms for a little while? So he said, well, I got to meet him first. I said, he's a good chap. You'll like him. So I got a call back from my landlord. He's like, yeah, you're right. Your mate's a good chap. He can move in. I was like, good. That defers at least half the damn cost. But I keep thinking, I must have lost my mind. There was a reason I didn't have a home. And then I go and get one, and of course, not there. And the I've rented the place for a year. I'm going to be gone 6 months of that year.
Oh. Do you not have any friends that need somewhere to stay?
Well, that's what I said. I've got one mate staying in one of the rooms now, but yeah, you know.
Cameron, whereabouts is your place?
It's in Arnhem.
Whereabouts is that in?
It's in the Netherlands, near the German border.
Oh right, okay.
Oh, Arnhem in Holland.
Arnhem and Nijmegen, that area. I'm in Arnhem.
So you're practically neighbours with us then?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I would be if I was actually there. When I'm actually
definitely
there.
come to Brighton.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
The beach.
Brandon and Britt are already planning to go to Holland now.
No,
Netherlands.
Yes.
The Netherlands, not the nether regions, gentlemen.
Well, that's the Netherlands as well, though, isn't it?
I think Brandon was planning to go there anyway to meet up with that guy,
Brett.
wasn't he? Brett, rather. Sorry.
Well, I'll be back mid-February, so if you drop me a line, you want to meet up.
Absolutely, yeah.
I know all the best places and all the best people, of course.
Excellent.
Well, if you come to Brighton, we are the best people, so.
Yeah. You know the best people in Brighton already.
And that's the Type1 Radio Lounge.
Actually, Sonic's the best person in Brighton.
By a mile.
You too. Well, I'm Vic. And
Did you see the...
yeah, Vic's great, isn't he? Yeah.
Did you see the message I sent you, Nick? Sorry.
What did you do?
Yeah. Your wall.
On the wall? Oh yes.
I just got another one from her. Can you believe that?
What? I've just got one from Tina Baby.
Tina Baby, that's it, yeah.
And he's on streaming now, so big shout out to our resident spammer at the moment, Tina Baby.
And we don't mean Steve the Fine Guy.
No.
Oh, Lillian, yeah, Lillian.
Oh, Lillian as well, yeah. I was talking to Lillian the other day. She didn't understand why I thought she was spamming. I said, come back when you want to play nicely.
So has anyone heard from Freeman lately?
Yeah, he was on the show just before.
Oh, was he?
We missed it.
It lasted a whole 3 minutes.
Yeah.
What did he say? Has anyone heard from Steve?
Yeah, he would have said that. He would have said, has anyone ever understood what Steve says?
Oh no, here it is.
Oh, let's give a shout out to Artica as well, up in Scotland, who's been suffering the most horrendous weather. Their trampoline got blown into the, I don't know, and got impaled on a lamppost or something.
His kid's trampoline, which had 3 concrete blocks and it was pegged to the ground with metal pegs, got lifted straight up and crashed through 2 fences and ended up in the house about 2 ways down. He lives in the north of Scotland, which is, it gets big storms quite a lot, but they had 3 100-mile-an-hour storms, one after the other, in sort of 4 days up there. I know.
Does he live in
down the hatches.
Sorry guys.
Is that your dog?
Yeah. Hey, get your own Skype show, Linus. Get out of here. Hey, really quick. Herb Guy wants to share a link with everybody. He used to be in a band called Hobo Libido. And you can go on myspace.com/Hobo Libido. Share it with the room. And check him out. Verb Guy, are you on there on the line?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, let's talk about homo libido for a minute.
Well, if you were looking at the CD, it pretty much explains it all. There's like a picture of in Seattle. I don't know if they have them other places, but we have a store called Archie McPhee, and they have these like little rubber ducks that they're like red and they have horns, and their brows are furrowed so they look angry. And so like the picture, the album cover is like a picture of a couple of little rubber ducks getting it on. There's one of the evil ones, and then like an ordinary rubber duck that I like borrowed from my son. And that's the album art. And then on
it sounds like
yeah, I know. I'm bad. And then on the back there's just a group, a picture of our band looking like tough, like we're like Slayer or something. So it's horny and it's pissed off, and that's about all you really need to know about it. But, yeah, I wasn't really planning to advertise it.
Okay, right, well, for next week's show, we'll have some on the audio clips here, and we'll be playing some.
Good. Hornier than a
You were playing some angry, horny ducks.
Yeah.
Hornier than a box full of hobos. I know. Who's crazy? Which Brett and Brandon are crazier here? Hey guys, we're gonna hit the trails. We love you guys. Good talking to you. And
take care.
Nice meeting you.
Bye, Phil. Bye, Ladybug.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Ladybug. Brian and Brett.
Bye.
Excellent.
Yeah, we just crashed.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah. We're back though.
You did some CPR there, and did you de-sib yourself?
Just happened.
Oh, well,
Thanks, man.
you're back now.
Yes.
We were talking about Scotland, weren't we, as well?
Yeah, we're just talking about high winds.
Yeah, Hydroarctica and blue-green as well. Is it blue-green?
Yeah. Well, we moved on from there to Herb Guy's band, Hobo Libido.
Hobo Libido.
So you moved from Scotland to Hobo Libido. Not much of a switch, is it?
It's clearly not a family show, is it?
What's the difference between Hobo Libido and Drunken Hobo Libido?
So,
Hobo libido is always drunken. But yeah, that's what I used to occupy my time with.
And what kind of music?
I would call it like kind of punk rock and kind of metal.
Okay.
It was like, well, my drummer was into punk rock and couldn't really do metal, but I liked metal a lot, and so that was just kind of like the weird bastard child that we came up with. But it worked, I guess. It was cool for what it was, I think. You know, I wasn't trying to advertise it or anything. Lobo just trying to put it out there.
Yeah, that's what that bastard does. That's bastard Lobo. Okay, right, we've got 5 minutes on the live show. So, anything that anybody wants to ask Megan about the shows, her tattoos,
how did you get to hear about Freeman, and how did you get to kind of arrange it to meet up and do? Because that's a great interview that you do with him on Freeman TV.
Oh, thank you so much. we're both good friends with Max Egan out in Australia.
Wow.
And I sort of accidentally met Max Egan. Some friends had invited me to pop into a chat room on Ventrilo, and Max popped in looking for another gentleman that was there who didn't happen to be there. And being talkative myself, I began speaking with Max, and we formed a friendship. He invited me to come out to visit him, and really the rest is history. I mean, Max has been a huge inspiration for me. He's the person who basically taught me about filmmaking. I sort of had a 2-hour crash course in filmmaking when I was out there, and that's really kind of where it started. He and then about 2 weeks after I met Max, David Icke contacted me back and said that he would do an interview as well. So I figured, well, I'll interview Max first. I'll get my sort of hand in, test the waters, and then I just went from there to David's, and then on to see the rest, to see Jordan Maxwell and to see Freeman and others. So it was
you know David Icke? Did you come to the Isle of Wight?
Yeah, I went out to the Isle of Wight.
Yeah, that's quite a place, eh?
I quite like the Isle of Wight. I'd been there even previous to that, so I have friends that live on the Isle of Wight, and I quite like it. It's got quite a nice little microclimate.
Yeah.
It's the only place in the world where you can go to a seaside town and the children are still pasty white.
Well, the Scotland as well.
I thought it's a shore town, and these children look like they've not seen sun in their entire lives.
Yeah, no, it's a fantastic film. I loved it. I was crying at the end.
Oh, I'm glad you enjoyed it. I really put a lot of effort and love into it.
Yeah, there's a real lump in the throat moment at the end. Yeah, when all the dancing's going on, just fabulous.
Oh yeah.
Really good.
Yeah. Admittedly, I stole clips from a whole lot of people, so I actually stole those dancing clips from gentlemen on the internet. Yes.
Oh, they're very good.
And that's quite amazing that your first interview with Max, who is just he is just such an amazing guy, isn't he? Such a wealth of knowledge.
Well, not only is he brilliant, but he is what he says he is. He's not a phony. He's not a fake.
No, you can tell.
Legit.
You can hear it in his voice that
He's a great guitarist.
And
Are you in contact with him, Megan?
Just occasionally, I'll send him an email or I'll chat with him. But
you know how his film's coming along? I was going to ask.
I can't wait to see what he's doing. I'm sure it's hopefully going to be done.
He said he was taking 2 months off to finish the film that he'd been working on for about 8 months or so.
Well, I know that he was adopted by the Aboriginal group, and he made the trip out to Uluru, and then to the other side of the country and back. And I haven't really had a chance to speak to him since just before that properly. But I look forward to getting out to Australia again, seeing him, that kind of thing.
Byron Bay is beautiful, eh?
It's brilliant. Well, when I visited him, he was living in Nimbin, and then he was just moving to Byron Bay. So I actually helped him a bit with that move. And it was really great. But the place, I've never seen anybody with a relationship with wild animals the way this man has.
Right.
And this is the real sort of true test that this is so amazing. In that wild animals come to him. There was a wild wallaby that lived in the bush around his house in Nimbin, and he would walk out the door and he'd go, "Hey, little darling, where are you, little darling?" And this wallaby had hopped out of the wood. It was absolutely astonishing. She would come and lay on the back porch and listen to him do his radio show.
Oh, wow.
He's got a very interesting voice, though, Max, as well, hasn't he? I can imagine. I really enjoy hearing him speak.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe the animals get that same feeling.
Yeah, he's got an amazing voice. I wish I had half the narration voice that he has.
Yeah,
me too, yeah.
The timbre of it is amazing.
Yeah, he doesn't really change the tone a lot, though, does it? It's all...
No. I mean, his normal voice is essentially what he uses on air. He tends to enunciate and speak a little more slowly, but that's about it.
Yeah, he's a very soothing voice. Yeah, definitely. It's excellent.
Are we 10 seconds, Nick?
Yeah. 10 seconds.
Oh no.
Well, thank you for having me on. It's been absolutely brilliant to come on today and chat with you all. And again, I apologize that I'm late. I shan't do that again if you have me back.
You don't have to go now.
No, that's just the live show. You can speak a bit more, and then this is all recorded onto a podcast, and it all gets log talked.
You're not getting away that easy, lady.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they've not called me out to say I've got another tattoo to do either, so, you know, I guess I've got the free time.
So where are you now? Are you in the States now?
Yeah, I'm going to be in the States until about mid-February, and then I'm heading back to Europe for about 3 months, and then I'm going to be back in the States for another month at the very least. And then from there, I'm not certain. I thought maybe Maui or Australia. It really depends on how my funds go. Right now, it's very, very difficult to put money together in the United States.
Yeah.
Same here.
Same here, mate, yeah.
Yeah, same here. It's quite tragic.
I'm looking... Sorry.
Are you likely to come to England?
Oh, yeah. I'm in England usually at least once or twice a year.
Yeah. Okay, well, we have to meet up because in May time there could be something interesting going on that you might like to come and work on. We'll talk about it.
Fantastic. Well, I should be until about mid-May. I should be in Europe in general. So to hop over to England is you just hop on EasyJet. It's €60 or whatever.
Yeah. Sleazy jet.
Yeah, EasyJet.
Yeah, just fly to Gatwick and we'll come get you.
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about this off air, huh?
Okay, yeah.
The whole CIA cat.
Yeah, they love me anyway. They have to go through my bag with a fine-tooth comb when I go through the airport.
Do you bring your own needles with you when you come back?
I bring bloody everything around me. So they look at me and they're like, I was like, yeah, you know, I know it's going to take you extra time just to go through everything, you know, because some of the things I pack in the luggage, like the needles, but there are other bits, like the electronics, that I won't pack in my machines. I have a gun. I don't have to use it to make it. I have a gun. It's not used for making art.
Okay.
You know.
There's a couple of tattoo guys I'm very good friends with over here.
Yeah. Well, it's a thing in the States that what we call kitchen magicians or kitchen wizards are usually the ones who refer to their machines as guns.
Right, okay.
Over here, I don't know. Maybe different in England.
Oh no, there's one guy who travels. That's probably what you're talking about, a kitchen one, yeah. He comes to your house and does it.
Yeah.
Yeah. He calls it a gun.
Yeah.
But I couldn't tell you what. I've got a really good friend, Jason, who used to do like art for clubs and psychedelic sort of paintings. And he's now a tattoo artist, and I don't know what he calls it.
Well, there's a bit of a taboo amongst professionals in the United States to call their machines guns. You know, it's just one of those stupid sort of things.
Well, I apologize.
Oh, no worries. You know, it's just I've gotten to the point where I automatically correct people, and I apologize for that as well.
No, that's fine. So I've not got any ink done myself, sort of thing. So it's not that I'm against it, but I haven't had one done because I'm too scared of needles.
You know what they say the difference between tattooed people and non-tattooed people is?
Yeah.
People that have tattoos don't give a shit whether or not you've got tattoos.
Yeah. Well, no, they've got two real close friends who have just got the most amazing, everything's done in their whole body, and it's just incredible what art.
That takes a lot of time and dedication to have done. Because I don't have my whole body done by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah. This mate of mine, he's got his solar plexus done with this. It's a symbol of the solar plexus, and it's quite cool. He said it's painful.
Yeah, no, the solar plexus really would be.
Mm-hmm. I think he's gunning for the soles of his feet next year.
Ouch.
Which apparently is the most painfulest part.
Yeah.
Yeah, as far as I can tell, the two most painful things for people tend to be the sternum and the ribs.
Okay.
Oh.
From my experience, even guys who have had what you might think would be more sensitive areas, usually don't find that as bad.
Yeah.
I tend to get stuck with those tattoos because the other guys in the shop go, "No, I'm not doing it." Okay. $100 minimum, send him to me.
So what happens with when it changes size? Does that happen ever?
And it will. It will.
You have to get a magnifying glass out.
Man, and you see how quickly people go monk on you.
Yeah.
Has anyone ever asked you to paint a turtle head on the end?
No, we've not asked for that yet, but I'll tell you what, I've had a few people turtle up on me pretty badly. And of course, there's ink and there's soap and there's Vaseline, and so within a few minutes, it's really hard to get a hold of the damn thing to stretch it back out to begin with.
Oh my God, that's like an erotic experience. Good job,
No,
Phil.
not me.
She's professional.
Megan, where can a person see your work?
You can have if you friend me on Facebook, you can see my portfolio. Strangely enough, I have a tattoo portfolio up on David Icke somewhere. On his website somewhere. Strangely.
Oh yeah, that's a real good one.
Yeah, go to the David Icke forum. You can find it. I know it's pretty ridiculous, but there's some up there because some of the folks on the Icke forum had asked me to post a bunch of stuff, so it's up there.
But
Facebook,
up there as well.
Facebook is there. L'extremiste.nl.
Extreme.nl.
Yeah, l'extremiste.nl. So the extremist, but in French.
All right.
.nl will have some of my stuff. Probably the site that actually has the best batch of my stuff would be No Kaoi Tiki Tattoo. That's No Kaoi, just as it's spelled, three separate words, Tiki Tattoo. And even though I'm only a guest artist there, they put up a nice collection of my work.
Oh, wow.
But Facebook, anybody's welcome to add me as a friend to Facebook. Any of the listeners out there.
And how would they do that?
I'm up there as Megan Verb Kargher, so you put my name in and some permutation of my name in there, and it should come up. But I use my real name for everything. I use my face for everything. I suppose that those that I would have to worry about are going to know who I am if I try and remain anonymous anyway, so I just haven't. I reckon you should put your money where your mouth is, so.
Excellent.
Fair enough.
And so, is it, when you do the tattoos, is that all your own work? Do people come with their own pieces that they want you to...
I do everything. I do everything from designing full custom freehand tattooing to, if somebody comes in and wants a little star or a name or a shamrock, I'll do that too. I'm not one of these people who gets a rock star attitude and thinks that they're, something special because, they've won an award or two or a dozen or I don't know how many I have now. I keep them in boxes these days. No, seriously, because in Holland, it's bad manners to display your awards.
Okay.
So I tend to just keep them in boxes now. But basically, I pretty much do everything. There are a lot of people who are newer in the business who suddenly think that they're rock stars and I don't do this and I don't do that. But there's nothing I really don't do unless I think that it's potentially harmful to the person. For instance, I don't tattoo faces. I don't tattoo people's hands if they don't have a lot of other tattoos. I don't tattoo people's hands if they're under 25. Okay. Just because people ask you to do the dumbest stuff, and it's like, no, I'm not going to make you unemployable at 19. You're an idiot. Come back at 25.
Yeah.
So, Conscious tattooing, excellent.
Well, yeah, I have a certain thing about what I will allow children to have.
Yeah. No, absolutely. It's because they're not going to ever get rid of it, are they? So.
No, and
haircut, isn't it?
and to get them lasered off costs a freaking fortune, and it leaves a scar anyway.
It just leaves a horrible big scar. It's better off having a tattoo.
Well, it depends on who does the laser work. You know, the licensing for doing laser work varies so drastically, not just from country to country, but from region to region within countries, that in some places you need a doctor's license in order to do it, and in other places you don't need any sort of licensing at all. So you've got, you know, a bunch of yahoos who just buy a machine and think that they know what they're doing and burn the living crap out of people.
I'm pretty sure I don't know if they still do, but they definitely used to do that in beauty parlours over here.
Yeah,
just go in and get the tattoo removals. You'd see it, wouldn't you? You'd sign something. And basically, it's like a high-powered laser that just burns your skin, isn't it?
I actually specialize in cover-up because people are really not the cleverest sometimes.
Yeah. You cover up the tattoos, yeah?
I cover up old tattoos with other tattoos, bad tattoos with other tattoos, ex-boyfriend and girlfriend's names. Yeah, it's unbelievable. I mean, I had one guy, I'm covering a name on his arm because his wife doesn't like his ex-wife's name on the arm. The current wife doesn't like it. And the entire time I'm doing it, he's flirting with me. He's saying things to me like, I know someone with such big brown eyes wouldn't hurt me. You won't hurt me, will you? I will if you don't shut up. Yeah. So, you know, the amount of thought that some people put into their tattoo, you know, they spent longer thinking about what they were having for breakfast. You know, which is sad, but then, you know, the amount of thought that people put into most things, you find that they thought longer about breakfast.
That's true.
Very true, yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately.
It is. I've had people who ask me, how can you think so much? How can you not think at all? You know? I came with the equipment to think. I assumed I was supposed to use it.
Sometimes, though, you meet people that do think that they're thinking, but they're just actually hashing thoughts that someone else has put there, and they're calling it their own thoughts. And
well, that's what school is. They teach you to regurgitate.
Yeah.
Memory.
It's interesting, you know, especially when you're talking to people about free man on the land stuff and about taking responsibility for yourself. It's very difficult for some people to get a grasp of what that really means without them kind of going, yeah, but, you know, we need a government because some people are just out of order.
Well, not only that, but I mean, you look at, for instance, I was showing some friends of mine some things on Earth ships. I don't know if you guys are familiar, but I'm going to sort of assume that you are familiar with Earth ships.
Yeah, we know Earth ships. Yeah.
And here I am. I'm showing them this video because I think this guy's a flippin' genius, and I think that these Earth ships are genius, and I would like to build one. You know, that's sort of one of my next goals is to get myself into some eco-housing, to build some eco-housing, to do a bit of farming, to do this kind of thing. Certainly not necessarily my next filming goal, but, you know, sort of a life goal for me is to live in a very sustainable and self-sufficient way. And so I'm showing this to some friends of mine, and some of my friends just get it right away. They're like, oh, that's brilliant. And other friends of mine, even though they're highly intelligent, they don't see it. They start saying things like, oh, you have to live out in the middle of nowhere. No. He's building out in the middle of nowhere because that's where he has the license to build experimental housing. If you can get the building code clearance, you could build one of these anywhere. It doesn't have to be in the middle of nowhere. And, you know, oh, well, that's just so much harder than building a regular house. You have to include all these systems. I was like, when you build a regular house, you still have to include the electric system, the plumbing system. You still have to include all of this stuff. They don't see the immediacy and the simplicity of it, and they automatically want to make everything difficult when it's not.
Yeah. There are some eco houses down here. The pod things. What were those pod things you just said? The motherships.
Earthships.
Earthships, yeah.
Yeah.
There's one in Brighton.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, they do up at Stanmore.
Stanmore
They
Park,
do groups, you know.
Yeah, they teach environmental stuff about how to look after forest land and stuff like that from it.
Yeah.
You know, so teaching land stuff, like, you know, farming, what have you, sort of thing. But it's,
I was discussing with my stepfather, and he says, you know, we were discussing the rights to something, and he's like, if you tell a judge you want to build an Earthship and do permaculture on the property, they'll think you're crazy. I'm like, well, that's what's fucking wrong with this paradigm. What's fucking wrong with this paradigm is you're considered crazy if you want to do something that's environmentally sustainable. That makes you nuts.
Yeah, and why would the church say that as well?
Judge, J-U-D-G.
Oh, judge, sorry, I thought you said the church. Sorry. But, the fact that people are being called crazy for wanting to do something that's sustainable for the earth, this is what really just blows my mind, is that...
And simpler and cheaper.
Yeah. It's something like, fracking, whereby you're penetrating the earth and blasting the insides of the earth with poisonous waters, which are going to then pollute the water table to extract a little bit of gas. They say, that's okay, we can do that, that's sustainable. No. Well, they know it's not sustainable, but they're just saying, right, well, we'll get a little bit of gas because, at least we don't have to use a coal-fired power station to do it, so therefore it's more eco-friendly.
Right, but meanwhile they're fracking to get the gas, and they're destroying the water table, and people are morons.
Yeah.
You know, as though the gas is just sort of appearing out of the ether, out of nowhere, and they're not destroying the environment to get it.
Yeah, no, they're completely bracket.
Let's be honest, they're fucking it up.
Well, it's not fucking it up, it's raping it, isn't it? You know, I mean, that's what it is. It's an insertion of a probe, which then shoots liquid into the earth.
I'm sure that Jay will surely tell you that the fastest way to get in trouble is to start producing free energy for people. That's the fastest way to get yourself killed in this society. Unfortunately, they tend to really shut down people that want to give away free energy.
Yeah.
And now they want to shut you down if you're giving away free food. You know, Kissinger, what did he say? Control energy, control oil, and you control nations. Control food, and you control people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think you made that point in your film very eloquently.
Yeah.
Let's say hello to Carolyn. Hello, Carolyn.
Hello.
Hey, how you guys doing? Hi, everybody. Sorry I'm a little late. Sorry I'm the show today. It's been a busy week. I actually took a nap and dozed off a little too long. Sorry about that, guys.
I don't apologize for having a rest.
Carolyn, meet Megan. Megan, meet Carolyn.
Hello, good evening.
Hey, Megan, I was anxious to say hello to you. I love your stuff. You really work hard, and I can't wait to hear what I missed. I'll listen to it on the podcast. Everybody knows that, Type1 Radio, it's got great podcasts. You can hear some great guests, and you're one of them, so I'm proud to meet you, hon.
Oh, thank you. That's just really, I got a huge grin, man. It's been so heartwarming to hear people that are really taking my work on board and enjoying it, and that is really why I do it. That makes it all worthwhile. I've spent pretty much my entire life savings making this film and putting these together, and hopefully we'll do a few more tattoos and make a few more.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Sounds great. I'll definitely get it out on Facebook. Got about 5,000 people over there, and some other shows I'm going to be on this week, so make sure that everybody gets the word, huh?
Oh, brilliant! Yeah, and just let them know my stuff, all of it. It's free to download. It's you can, as long as you're distributing it for free, burn as many copies as you like. I'm doing everything for free. I think that information is important, and although I do agree with David Icke that information is not power, it is the application of information that's actually power. But in order to apply it, one must have it. So.
Absolutely, yeah. One more bit of information you gave out. Well, Freeman loaded up a video of when you spoke at the film festival, and you gave out the information about the Occupy, the address, where the original website address came from.
Yeah, the original IP address. Now, this is not my research, so I'm actually repeating this. But the original IP address, supposedly, for the original site that spawned the Occupy movement, was in the Lucius Trust building. And of course, the Lucius Trust used to be the Lucifer Publishing Company.
Lucifer Publishing, yeah. Oh my God.
So,
Well, the Occupy movement as well also had its links in the Day of Rage thing, didn't they? And the Day of Rage was a 60s kind of idealistic movement, but that they were one of their slogans was "Kill your parents, smash their homes," something like that. It was rather, provocative.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things that I said
we would ask children to do.
Mm-hmm. One of the things that I said immediately at Occupy Amsterdam, because I've been seeing this, right? The guys from Optor showed up at Occupy Wall Street, and they immediately started employing this technique where, everybody's got freaking bullhorns and microphones and all of this, but they turn off all the PA equipment, and then the person who's speaking has the crowd repeat what they're saying.
Yeah.
Okay, and people are like, I don't know why you're so upset about that. That's, they're just repeating it so the other people can hear it. I said, well, I gave a speech earlier today. I had a microphone. No one had to repeat me. I said, when you're repeating someone, you're not necessarily thinking about what they're saying. You're not necessarily thinking about what you feel about what they're saying. It's sticking you straight into the left brain because you have to repeat. So you're not using your intuition to think about what they're saying, and then as you're repeating it, when you repeat a thing, it simply backs that energy up. It increases that energy. So now you might even be repeating something that you don't necessarily agree with.
Yeah.
Yeah. But and then look at what groups do they ask to repeat? What groups do you hear repeating? Right? School children.
Yes, we can. Yes, we can.
Right? The military.
Thank you, Satan. Thank you, Satan.
But if you look at the military, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4,
So, yes,
this is my rifle, this is my gun. Right? So this repeating thing is a part of a brainwashing technique. So when I see, and then so I had said, look, here's the situation. This, you people have a grievance, and you have a legitimate grievance. We all have a legitimate grievance. However, if you allow someone to lead you, and you don't know where their final destination is, don't be upset when you arrive at that destination and it ain't where you want to be. Because you need to be your own leaders. You need to create your own agendas. And if you continue to allow people to lead you, you're going to find that this movement gets co-opted very, very, very quickly. Well, by the end of the day, they were doing the same thing that I saw in New York and Atlanta and all these other places. They were sitting in a circle like school children repeating what the guy in the front said so that the people in the back could hear, supposedly. But there was a microphone. He could have just turned the microphone on.
I feel it's kind of almost like a kind of fishing trip in some ways, the Occupy movement, in that it's kind of, it's brought out a lot of people who perhaps haven't thought through in any, deep. Well, I don't want to sound patronising, but say I think it's obvious that the powers that be knew or know that at this time there will be people who are very disillusioned with what authority is providing for them and what authority is. But they're people who perhaps haven't really thought through what authority is. But to provide the Occupy movement and to kind of throw the fishing line out there in the form of the Occupy movement, it's kind of pulled a lot of people out onto the streets who haven't quite thought things through. And like you say, they just sit them all down, get them repeating things, and it's like people are coming onto the streets kind of saying, we're not happy, right, we think we know something, but we don't really know much, tell us what to do. And if people need to be more organised in their own thoughts and their own ways that they want to see how they want to move forward. And I think for a lot of people that have gone out onto the streets, it's been a bit of a kind of crash landing. They're just suddenly there and they don't really know why they're there. And they're quite kind of, open to suggestion about why they're there, and that, like you say, they can easily be led one way or the other.
And that's the idea, is that it's created as a sort of a steam valve, right? Yeah. People are reaching the bursting point, and so they're going to provide a way to let off steam that does not actually create an explosion. Because that's what they're trying to avoid.
Yeah. Good point. Yeah.
And exactly your point is true. Is that many of them realize that society is very ill. However, they don't realize the root cause of that illness. Mm-hmm. And so they're looking to treat the illness in the same way that the pharmaceutical companies treat the illness, right? They're going to run in and they're going to treat the symptoms. They can treat the symptom of this for this, and they can treat the symptom of this with that, and it's this law and it's law and this blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, they haven't gone back to the root cause of the problem. I said to them, if you've got a splinter in your finger, I can give you an aspirin and you won't feel it so much. We can put a Band-Aid on it and you won't see it, but you will still have a splinter in your finger. You have to remove the root cause. You have to take the splinter out. And in this case, it's money issued as debt that is the root cause. And so until you eliminate the Fed entirely, then there's no sense in trying to put a Band-Aid on a hemorrhaging wound unless you've stemmed the blood first.
Cut the splinter out first.
Until you've cauterized the wound, you can put as many fucking bandages on as you want.
Oh shit.
Sorry about my language, by the way. I hope there's no children.
That's perfectly good language as far as I'm concerned.
This is the Type1 radio lounge.
It's late night here anyway, so.
Yeah, it's a good thing it's late night here. Working in a tattoo shop kind of skews your sense of reality. The word fuck is, an adjective, a verb, a noun. It's everything.
Why the fuck am I here?
Is your tattoo shop in Glasgow?
No, but I like Glasgow. I went to Glasgow School of Art on exchange for a bit. I'll tell you what, you do a pub crawl in Glasgow, you're lucky if you get 2 stinking blocks. There's so many
Did you
pubs.
get to the Griffin?
Probably. I tell you what, we couldn't get back up the bloody fucking tour to the Macintosh.
Hell yeah! If you go on a guy called Blue Green on Friends of Fame, he's got some photographs of the old art school. Have you seen them? Yeah.
I don't know if I've seen. I've been in the Macintosh building. I don't think I've seen the photographs.
Yeah. Well, part of it's been torn down because it's dilapidated, sort of thing, and he's taking some pictures of these windows, which are just incredible. The old Macintosh building there.
Yeah, well, it was amazing. I mean, he had designed all the furniture even that went into it.
Oh yeah, he did everything.
I remember going to the tea room there when I was little.
Have you been to the observation room, Megan?
I was all over the building. It's been 20 years, so I'll be fucked if I can remember every single detail. To be quite honest,
you can't forget the observation room. It's basically a panoramic view of the city from these windows. Yeah, you've been there before.
Yeah. What's that building? I think is it near the art school that the architect built backwards?
No, it's a bridge.
Oh.
He built this bridge and it went into the side of the building. Oh no, the art gallery.
The art gallery.
In Kelvin Park is built back to front.
And when the architect realised what he'd done,
he hung himself.
All I know is I turned up there. I was perhaps
building it backwards and then hanging himself.
Yeah. Sorry, Megan, what was that?
I thought all I know is that I turned up there. I was perhaps 21 when I turned up in Scotland, and there was a bloke with a blue mohawk and a kilt on, and I thought, brilliant! I could stay here for a while.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like a good combination of the traditional and the modern.
Yep. It rains too much in Glasgow, though.
I live in the Netherlands. It's the same thing.
Well, we've got an old Dutch friend that said that the Netherlands should become the first indoor country. They should build a roof over it.
It's like living underwater there. At certain times of the year, I actually feel like I have gills.
Well, a lot of it is reclaimed land as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
So.
I live near the one hill in all of Holland. So.
Oh yeah, Arnhem, yeah, of course, yeah.
I live about 10-minute walk from Bridge Too Far.
Okay.
Oh God, yeah.
Wow.
And not that long ago, they had the celebration of the anniversary of the airdrops.
Yeah. What?
And so they celebrated that by dropping a bunch of octogenarians over the city.
Okay.
So it was quite funny, It's just sort of the same guys that were left over dropped in a second time. At least nobody shot at them this time round.
Yeah. What, were they British?
Yeah. The Brits were dropped into Arnhem, and the Americans got dropped into Nijmegen.
Oh.
Wow.
Jeez, how dangerous should that be? Dropping.
See, they don't make human beings like that anymore, do they?
Yeah. Well, they learned pretty quickly that the thing that their rifle was supposed to be attached to, if you jumped out of the plane, it would tear off from the wind, and you'd end up with a rifle. They started jumping with their guns in their hands.
Right.
So that they would have it when they landed.
Didn't you have some of the gliders there too, left?
Most likely. I don't know for sure. I should know history better, but
You got all kinds of history there.
absolutely. I cut my foot looking at an old bunker. We were taking a boat right along the Rhine, and we decided, oh, look at this bunker, how interesting, let's pull the boat over. I wanted to have a look at the old bunker. And of course, pushing the boat back into the water, I cut my foot on something, and we were of the opinion it had to be old German shrapnel. They were still doing damage. But after we got the boat stuck on a sandbar, the whole thing became a giant mess, and that was the last time we decided we were going to do anything that involved German history.
The Nazis have caused problems all over the place.
Well, in Arnhem, they're still very upset with the Germans. They're not so upset that they killed all the Jews in the country. They're more upset about the fact that they took the bicycles. You got say the Dutch are still pissed about the bicycles.
They took our tulips, yeah.
So it was good steel.
Ah, okay. So they needed this for the war effort?
Sorry?
What, they took the bicycles for the steel for the war effort?
Yeah, they took the bicycles for the metal. So
I don't know, in Amsterdam they used to have bikes just lying around, didn't they, that you could use for free?
The white bicycle program, that didn't last very long.
Is that
People
going
decided that you could just as easily take the bicycle, paint it another color, and keep it.
Yes. You didn't think that one through, did you?
That's a shame, because it was a great idea.
Yeah.
I've used a white bicycle before.
Yeah.
You showed your age, don't I?
I have a good mate who, when he gets quite drunk, becomes rather a slapper. And for a while, he was riding a white bicycle, and we found that quite ironic.
Hello.
Any other questions?
Are you working on any more films at the moment?
I have 2 films that are sort of in the sort of sketchbook stage.
Okay.
I'm working on one that is potentially going to be about alternative medicine. So not only is it going to be so much about a little bit about the abuse of the big pharmaceutical companies, but also I want to examine a lot more alternatives to Western medicine, everything from chiropractic to acupuncture to herbs, holistic medicine, and that kind of thing, Reiki. And so I have an interview in the can on that. But I've got a lot more to do. I want to get a whole Bruce Lipton and a bunch of other people to talk about that one. I have another one that I'm going to put together called...
I have some interesting people you could...
Sorry, go on.
I have some interesting people I know that you could talk to around alternative medicine.
Yeah, I did talk to Mike Lambert about setting up an appointment to talk to him over on the Isle of Wight. He runs the Shen Clinic. And I had a talk Tullio Simacci, and he said he's the oncologist from Italy who's doing some really revolutionary stuff with sodium bicarbonate. So there's potential to talk to him and do an interview with him. But yeah, I'm really wide open to having people come and talk to me about this, or my them, so as I have money.
The baking soda thing sounds really fascinating. Is he doing anything with hydrogen peroxide?
Well, he's treating a fungal infection that occurs along with cancer. The thing is, when you find a cancerous growth, most of the time you're going to find a fungal infection along with it. And what the doctors say is that the fungal infection is opportunistic, and it's moving in because the cancer is there. And what Tullio is saying is that it's actually the fungal infection that is creating the cancerous cells. And so when he does a biopsy, he will treat the area with sodium bicarbonate, which will kill the fungus, and it keeps it from spreading from the biopsy, knocking bits of spores loose, that kind of thing. And then in addition to that, he's also actually treating cancers with the sodium bicarbonate and finding that they're shrinking.
Wow.
So they were using that back in the teens and the 20s, that oxygen in the blood was great, hydrogen peroxide, and they were kicking that. But, you know, everything has petroleum based.
I'm sure the H2O2 is probably serving the same kind of function that the sodium bicarbonate is, in that it's probably killing off the fungus.
Yeah, most cancer is anaerobic, so if you can oxygenate the blood, you basically kill, you know, because the cancer fungus, some of it's virus causing it. We all know a bunch of it's also weaponized cancer, but what the hell? But I've got some of the private papers from a doctor that was doing all the research on baking soda. They were even pancreatic cancer with it. I mean,
we're getting a lot of feedback.
Yes, real bad line, Caroline.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always seem to problems.
Have you got some headphones or something?
Not at the moment.
Okay.
I'm lucky I got this on and running at the moment. After some of the move this.
Maybe move the computer away from the speakers.
It's iMac, one piece. Yeah.
Oh well. You're going to talk to them about some sort of...
You know what? Voice of God to echo.
Oh, you've got old Norman Collier again.
No,
Well, the other project that I'm looking to do is a project on veterans called Veteran Voices, and the idea came to me. I was visiting my grandmother. She lives in a retirement community, and I thought, wow, there's all these guys that were in World War II, that were in the Korean War, and it would be interesting to sit down with them and get their perspective, and then get the perspective of Vietnam veterans, of Iraq War veterans, about what's really going on with the current situation, in addition to their experiences of the war that they were in as well. So I thought that that would be an interesting also a thing to explore.
Yeah.
Because, you know, a lot of these guys are going to be gone, and then they'll be able to say whatever they want about the history.
Yeah. I mean, I work with elderly and disabled people doing work in their houses to put in showers and what have you. And I often work with a lot of old veterans sort of thing, and it's kind of hard to talk to them sometimes when you realise why the wars were fought in the first place. Because they're still all, you know, salute the Queen and what have you sort of thing. Salute the monarchy.
There was one person, what were they saying about going into France, was to lay a pipeline or something?
Yeah, well, I worked with this old lady who worked in, you know, the Bletchley Park kind of scenario, do you know that? The decoding sort of place.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You know, that thing. And she was telling me that when the D-Day landing, you know, the D-Day thing, was down there, that was actually a sort of covert operation to lay a fuel pipe to mainland Europe. So we could provide fuel for the American and British forces tanks and stuff like that. So the actual story that we are told about the D-Day invasion sort of liberating the troops is a bit of a lie.
Yeah. Well, I mean, luckily I come from I guess maybe a bit of a family with a slightly suspicious nature, and even though I certainly don't agree politically with most of their views, I do remember being about 7 or 8 years old, and my grandfather telling me that we knew that Pearl Harbor was going to be attacked, and we allowed Pearl Harbor to be attacked, and we allowed those men to be killed as an excuse to get into the war.
Yeah.
And even knowing that, my grandfather was still, you know, in support of it. So, but it just made me think, well, you know, obviously every war that we've gotten into as a result of a provoked attack or a false flag operation. I mean, we essentially provoked the Japanese, you know, to such an extent that it would have been essentially the same as going up to a hornet's nest, you know, hitting it with a big stick and expecting not to be stung.
Yeah.
So if you intentionally provoke a response that you know is going to be this particular response, and then you permit it to happen and pretend it's a surprise.
Kind of what's happening now as well, isn't it? In that America's being allowed to be this kind of provocateur around the world, just going in places and.
Well, I mean, the Brits and the Americans are sort of, they go hand in hand.
Absolutely.
And they have for a while. So if you look at the situation in Iran.
In Iran, yeah.
And in Iraq, you're going to see the same thing over and over again, which is that for a while BP had the rights to all of the petroleum that was produced at a certain rate. And at that time, Iran had a democratically elected government even. And their mineral rights and oil rights that they had under a certain contract came to a close. And the Iranian government wanted to renegotiate so that they would get a better percentage, and also so that it would force British Petroleum to hire a certain number of Iranian people as opposed to bringing in all foreigners to do the work. And BP didn't like that because it was not favorable to them earning shitloads of money. So they went to MI5 and the CIA, and the MI5 and the CIA, they cooked up a little scheme, and the CIA went in and they deposed the democratically elected government, and they put the Shah of Iran in.
Yeah.
And of course, the populace had a knee-jerk reaction to that, and we ended up with
Ayatollah.
We ended up with the Ayatollah,
Mm.
and it was essentially something that was cooked up between the CIA and British Petroleum.
Yeah.
But when you look at who are the people that own the rights to British Petroleum,
The Bushies.
there you have your culprits.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the same thing with Shell Oil. You know, Queen Beatrice still owns a huge portion of Shell Oil.
Yeah.
So these fuckers do this intentionally all the time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it's only more recently that some of the documents have become declassified, and that people who just pay no attention to what's going on in the world are not really going to ever come across these documents. They're not really being made public, they're just being declassified.
Yeah. That's what I was meaning when I was saying about when you're going to talk to these veterans. Are you going to bring these subjects up with them or not?
Well, I will bring some of these subjects up. I need to be delicate. A few of these guys might actually drop freaking dead.
This is what I'm thinking, yeah.
You know, I don't want them to become immediately hostile. They may not like the tone of the final film.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they may not like the fact that they might seem a little brainwashed by the end of the tone of the final film. But I'm really hoping to find one or two that are clever enough to have a good perspective on it. The Vietnam vets generally tend to have a clearer perspective on it.
Yeah, the more
even these people who are distrustful of the government fucks us over on everything, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
Are so willing to immediately turn around and accept the 9/11 Commission reports and accept these things. And it's like, oh, so the government lies to us about everything except 9/11? You know, that seems a little dubious.
Yeah. And they don't even take they've got the audacity to not even get the facts right. You know, like even closely, remotely to like normal time and space.
That's what Charlie Beach believes now, though, isn't it? That the government lied to us about everything except 9/11.
Yeah. Even my own family members, you try and point out that if a building pancakes, that as each floor impacts the other, even if the weight of the floors cause it to pick up speed, the first few floors will fall more slowly as one floor impacts another, and it'll pick up speed as the weight of the amount of mass increases from floor to floor.
Yeah. And there'll be a pile of rubble when it's finished.
And it certainly doesn't turn into a giant cloud of pyroclastic dust.
Yeah, and paper.
Yeah, and the paper. And the picture of the people who are standing in the giant fucking hole, looking out.
Yeah, with no damage within that hole.
It was so fucking hot it melted the steel, but the people stood there in shoes.
Yeah.
And I mean, anybody who's been in front of anybody who's been in front of something that's hot enough to melt steel, it's a pretty good idea for how freaking hot that is. You don't want to get that goddamn close. You know, even with leather clothes on. I made the mistake one day of going into the glass studio without a bra on, and I just was gonna blow a couple of pipes actually to sell, and I figured, I'll be in the studio half an hour, 45 minutes. It won't matter. I nearly burnt my flippin' nipples off. You know, and that's standing, a distance away from a controlled burn. So, this is.
So these temperatures being reported, they were causing a reaction, but it obviously wasn't that hot. Otherwise, people would have been severely burned, and there were no reports of severe burns from the rescue workers.
Yeah. I mean, if it was hot enough to buckle and melt the steel all the way down to the first floor, through hundreds of floors of concrete. I mean, it's just ludicrous.
Well, it's odd though, because there was reports of the firefighters melting their shoes, but their feet weren't burnt.
Yeah, they had to keep bringing in new lots of shoes for the firefighters, and the only way that people could that the helpers helping out in this could explain what was happening was that they were saying that it's so hot in there, it's melting their metal toe,
the steel toe caps,
toe caps on their boots. So we have to keep bringing more and more of these boots in.
If it only were hot enough to melt steel, it would give you. Burns. It'd burn you down to the bone.
But there was no reports of any burns.
Reports of any severe burns or burn injuries. You know.
Yeah. I mean, I've had my hands stuck to hot steel, where your hand, you touch it, and it literally sticks to what you're touching, and the skin turns brown like you're sizzling steak. I've had that happen to me, and trust me, you're not standing on that shit.
Yeah, something else is happening there. Something they really don't want us to know about.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Well, when you look at what Dr. Judy Wood has to say about it, you start to go, You know, people are like, oh, it fell. I was like, if it fell, you know, one particular piece of steel that we were looking at in particular, I'm like, if it fell, why is there a fucking dust cloud in the shape of it? It doesn't leave a big fucking dust cloud. When it falls, it falls. It doesn't leave a dust cloud in the shape of the fucking steel. I said, this is frame by frame. We should be able to see it drop it. And what we're not seeing it dropping, what we're seeing is it turning into fucking dust.
Yeah. And as the pieces are falling down, there's an incredible piece of footage she has where you can see that these pieces falling are just like Alka-Seltzers in a glass of water, just kind of foaming and frothing and dissolving as they fall.
There's one piece of steel that's fallen, and all of a sudden it just flays out like a feather, and it turns just, you know...
It never hits the ground.
It never hits the ground, just completely dissipates.
When you look at the pile of rubble, you go, well, that's a hell of a lot of goddamn steel and concrete. Where's the big fucking rubble pile?
Yeah, where are all the toilets?
People are looking down into the sub-basements. How the fuck is that possible?
Yeah.
There should be 150 floors worth of steel and concrete. I mean, them giant fucking checkerboard pieces. And people are like, oh, well, it was not designed to be impacted with a plane at that speed. And I was like, well, yes, it was. And it's like,
of course it was.
It's like putting your fist through a screen. You know, you can put your fist through the screen. It doesn't destroy the integrity of the entire screen. It only destroys the section of the screen that you put your fist through.
Yeah,
crazy.
Yeah.
So anyway, you're following in Dr. Judy Wood's footsteps, you know, Megan?
Well, I don't have her...
Well, no, she's been on the show as well.
I certainly don't have her qualifications, but... You know, you don't need to be a demolition expert or a physicist to realize that certain things are just not possible. It's not possible given the explanation that you're given.
And hopefully we'll have Dr. Judy on again.
Yeah. If possible. Yeah.
Class act. Good lady.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's been on the show twice.
And stayed at their house.
Oh, brilliant! I very much admire her balls. She's got some real balls.
She has.
Absolutely.
Nobody's going to come to me and go, you know what, you're fucking crazy. Nobody's ever going to hire you again as an artist. Like, nobody ever says that to artists. They expect us to be fucking nuts. So, but as a scientist, that can really end a career for you. So.
Yeah. And start a new one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, this new career does not pay shit.
Yeah, that's right. And she actually decided to go for that because she just felt in her heart that she had to go with the way she was feeling. She had to go for it. And yet you have people, and she gave up everything to do that, and for no thanks whatsoever. And yet her naysayers and that put her down and that promote these other guys who are, the other scientists like Stephen Jones and people like that, what have they put on the line? Nothing. They put nothing on the line. And yet they're supposedly the ones who've got all the answers. She is, you know, she had something that she completely felt in her heart, and yet they're saying, oh, she's just a debunker. Why would a debunker completely put the whole of their life on the line to speak so honestly about what they felt was really true?
Yeah.
So it doesn't make sense to say she's the debunker when she put everything on the line and they have put nothing on the line.
Well, not only that, but wouldn't a debunker be the one to, you know, automatically support the official version of the thing as opposed to going further out into the ether, you know?
Yeah.
Very good point.
But I mean, you get a lot of this. You get these people who were telling you did this for the money. One guy was like, oh, there's advertisements on your channel, so it's not. I said, first of all, it's free for distribution. Distribution is not advertising. Second of all, I'm not paid for the advertising on YouTube. I have the opportunity to have paid advertising put on my channel, and I keep refusing it. The pop-up ads that you get are not paid advertising to the person on that. It's only the ones where you get an actual commercial before the film. And this guy keeps arguing with me that I'm being paid for it. I was like, you are a seriously deluded wanker. You know? I said, it's not about the 25 cents I might have made if I'd allowed them to put that. It's about the integrity and purpose for which the film is made. I said also, and you know, I'll say it a million times, even though I'm not having advertising put on it voluntarily, and I'm not being paid for advertising, advertising still is not fucking distribution. You know, I'm out of my mind with like the stupidity of these people, and then they go, oh well, David Icke is in it for the money. Yes, David Icke gave up a lucrative broadcasting career and a career with the Green Party in order to tell us about reptiles because he thought that would be lucrative. He thought it would be lucrative to have the entire country think that he's balmy as hell.
Yeah.
Right? So and they go, well, he lives in that mansion. I look at them, I said, it's a fucking apartment building. I said, it's not a mansion. You see him come out the front door on the BBC, that ain't his house. It's an apartment building. Oh, yeah? How do you know? I was at his house.
Other people live there.
Oh, yeah. I was in the apartment. It's a little one-bedroom apartment. His office is the size of a closet. Get over yourself.
And he's facing a couple $100,000 in legal problems in Canada now, so shit, ripping him off for what he does have.
Not to mention his ex-wife is trying to get a ridiculous amount of money out of him, apparently. The ex-wife is after money as well.
Well, we've got 1.5 minutes, roughly, to the end of the show. It's been lovely to have a lovely little chat with you, Megan. And, whenever you want to come on, you want to do a show even, the Type1 Radio Lounge is here for you, us all, to use. So, just to put that out there.
Brilliant. Well, thank you so much. I've absolutely enjoyed this. I look forward to coming out to England and meeting you all next time I'm in the neighborhood.
Excellent.
Fantastic.
We look forward to seeing you.
Yeah.
Very good.
We'll prepare the Emperor room for you.
I was going to say you can't miss me after an extended stay in the United States. You couldn't miss me like inside of a barn.
Well, we've just all been sitting around eating chocolate.
Yeah.
So you'll be welcome here.
I do like a bit of good chocolate, and it's hard to find in America.
Oh, we've got great chocolate shops in
Yeah. Well, you live in the castle, don't you?
We got 5.
Absolutely.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Catch you guys later.